Welcome to the GCN Tech Show.
This week we've got a bumper show, right? We've got a solar-powered helmet, how fast the Super Tuck actually is, or was, a hidden motor e-bike, your upgrades, the Bike Vault, and
we've got our main talking point, taking a look at why Ollie failed the hour world record. A year has passed now, so hopefully the wounds have healed.
I didn't fail.
Okay then, on to last week's poll first. So,
we asked you which of these is the coolest Italian bike brand: Pinarello, Bianchi, Colnago, and Cinelli. And we had an overwhelming response. I mean, it was
got everyone fired up.
A lot of people voted in this poll. This is clearly a big issue. And as of today, when we've checked it, the poll currently stands at 34% of you think Pinarello is the coolest Italian bike, followed closely by Bianchi on 30%, Colnago 29%, and Cinelli just 7%.
Yeah, lagging behind a little bit. But this has got, obviously, everyone fired up, and it got us thinking, we need to have round two of this.
Yeah.
So for this week's poll, we're going to have which Italian bike brand do you think is the coolest? Version 2, round 2?
Yeah, like the next semi-final.
Yeah.
We're going to say that was a semi-final, we'll do another semi-final, and in this one, who should we put in?
De Rosa, Basso, Viglia, and let's have Cipollini in there as well.
Yeah, that's a good collection. And then I think what we can do is we take the top two from each semi-final and then put them into one big poll. And then you can vote. Once and for all, we're going to settle this. What is the coolest? We haven't put the Tekia in.
Oh, we've missed it.
We've only got room for 4 in each poll, so we might have to do another one. Yeah. Anyway.
On to the main talking point. Yeah.
Why I failed at the hour record. It's been exactly a year since I took on the challenge of the hour, so I thought it would be good to look at sort of why I didn't go as far as Merckx, and what I've learned and what I'd do differently if I did it again.
That's a good point, because there is actually a nice feature-length documentary out over on GCN Plus. So if you haven't seen it already, it's worth heading over to check that out.
Oh, thanks. Yeah. But in all seriousness, I don't feel like I did fail in many regards. I cycled 47.6 nearly kilometres in an hour, and I felt for me that was blooming good. And as many people pointed out, it was actually further than Anquetil and Copy, and they're two scalps that I'm very happy to have taken.
Yeah, well, to be fair, I think you did do a good job. But when you go back and re-look at something that you've done in the past, quite often there are areas, like you say, that you would change and redo about your attempt. So I guess that's what it leads us on to, really.
Yeah, I mean, I've learned a lot, which does give me a bit of an itch to do one again. Yeah. But the biggest thing that I would change, which I can't actually change, is the weather.
You're riding indoors.
Yeah, very funny. Although it does make a huge difference. The weather conditions, and in particular air density, is absolutely key when doing an hour record. And I have zero doubt in my mind that had Bradley Wiggins had good conditions when he'd done his hour record, he'd still be the record holder to this day. Quite simply, the maths says so. He happened to have terrible conditions, like very bad air density. And so the maths says, the maths says that if he rode the same power, but with favourable conditions, he could have conceivably done 56 kilometres, which is astounding.
And the same can be said for you, maybe not that you'd ride 56 kilometres, but you would have ridden further had you had more favourable conditions. You had high air pressure, high air density, and low temperature, and all of those three things contribute to suboptimal conditions, and it's in effect like trying to swim through custard instead of trying to swim through water.
Yeah, that's a good analogy, actually. It does make a huge difference. We'd done the maths and we had projections of what was possible based on the power output that I could produce. And for the same watts that I actually did on the day, if I'd had good conditions, you roll the dice, but if I'd had good conditions, then I could have gone further than Merckx off that power.
That is actually really interesting to know. So it also kind of means that had you just arrived a bit earlier, cranked the thermostat up, you would have done yourself a big favour and would have ridden a bit further.
Well, that's the thing. You can't change the actual weather on the day,
no.
apart from get lucky with that and the air pressure and stuff. but you can increase the temperature.
So that would have helped you.
Yeah, well, like Wiggins had similar air density, but they cranked the velodrome up right up to like 30 degrees.
I remember I was there when he did his record attempt. It was absolutely boiling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we did have the heaters on, but Newport wasn't able to get anywhere near as hot as that, so it was still pretty cool in there. And I think it was only about 12 degrees when I finished.
Oh yeah, that's actually, might as well be outside.
But well, it was about like -2 outside.
Oh, okay, so you've done well. But on top of that, are there any other sort of areas that you would have looked at and changed in addition?
Well, yeah. I mean, one of the things is, I just want to say with the heat, is it's easy to say, oh, we crank it up to 30 degrees, but then that does present further problems in terms of overheating when you're riding.
Especially with an aero helmet on as well.
Yeah, so that's something else, but you can sort of train for that, I guess. But that's one thing which can lower the air density. The other thing was, and other people might relate to this if they've ever done a time trial, when I looked back over the pictures that were taken of me, I noticed in like towards the second half of the event, I became significantly less aero. And I just, without
as your body fatigues.
Well, a little bit of that, but also just forgetting, because I was concentrating on so many other things. My head just got a bit higher, which slows you down. And if I just, it's easy with hindsight, but if I just had someone trackside shouting at me, head, or like,
just like it's like a little reminder.
Yeah, then I could have just gone, oh. And
that's a good point there. On the face of it, it looks like a simple thing, doesn't it? You go, oh, you ride around the velodrome, you try really hard. But there's so much to think about at that one sort of moment in time.
It's one of the reasons why it's so hard, is the pure concentration for an hour. Yeah. I mean, one thing I did do well with the position is be able to hold that position for an hour I didn't get out of the saddle once, stayed in there. And I did train for that on the turbo, which was painful and horrendous and took a lot of effort.
Yeah, anyone that's tried riding in a quite an extreme time trial position, in a fixed position on the turbo trainer, it is difficult. Even after like 5 or 10 minutes, your back aches, your shoulders are sore, your neck aches.
Yeah.
But to do it for an hour, fair play to you, to be honest. You've done well.
Yeah, I felt like I have.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, if you want to know a bit like what it's like to do, then try it on your turbo.
5 minutes and you'll get a feeling.
An hour. You're not allowed to move. You've got to stay like that for an hour. No getting out the saddle or anything. Another thing that could be better was not getting ill in the run-up. Yeah. So this isn't in the film, but about a month and a half before I did it, I had a nasty bout of norovirus, which completely wiped me out. I was like, it destroyed me.
It's not great before a big event.
No. And I was really poorly with that. And then I sort of got over that, but it meant that I think it had a knock-on effect, because now if I compare the sort of power numbers I can do at my best, I was probably at about 95% of my best.
But even taking that into account, saying that you've been ill and not quite at your best going into the event, you've still done, what was it, just under 300 watts for the hour record, which in a time trial position is very good, because many people do find that they can't hold quite the same power in that position and on the velodrome. Yeah. So that was one of your best powers for in that position.
Well, it was a PB power for a time trial position for that length of time that I've ever done, which was good. And I was really, really proud of that. And anyone that thinks, I can do this power, I've got that FTP. It's like, one thing I would say is it's a lot harder on the track for an hour, and also just in that position. So you try it on your turbo, see how you get on.
See how you go. Yeah. Okay, so you've held good power for your record attempts, but are there any other sort of positive aspects and things to take from it?
I think the training was really good that I was doing, and that worked for me, and I got good adaptation. And also the sports psychology side of it, the mental side of doing it, I felt went really well. Behind the scenes, I was chatting to David Spindler, who's a psychologist. He's also Rowan Dennis psychologist as well. And it was really useful, because the little sort of mental coping strategies and games that he got me to play in my head really worked with me keeping the power on the whole way through the record. And although you do get tired as it progresses, I didn't drop off. I didn't ease off the gas. I stayed on the gas the whole time.
It is very much like a mental challenge as well as a physical challenge, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And I felt like the reason why I feel proud of myself for doing it, which I think I'm allowed to, is because I know on that day, irrespective of the conditions and everything, I emptied the tank. I did the best that I could have done on that day, and there's something quite satisfying about that.
Oh, it's mega satisfying knowing that you've done everything that you can. And I gotta be honest, I'd take my hat off to you a little bit for it, I know I've said it's a good watch, but it is worth checking out yourself because it's very interesting.
Oh, thanks. And I know this is shameless self-promotion of GCN Plus, but forgive us because this is, well, it's the biggest project we've ever done, and we're immensely proud of like all the films that are on there. And if we don't shout about it and tell you, then no one else will.
Plus, it's an absolute bargain in February because it's half price, meaning £20 for the entire year.
Yeah, or $25 if you're in America. But I mean, that's all the documentaries that we're doing and the pro racing, although territory restrictions apply on that. But yeah, it works out as like $160 a month.
Amazing value. Just head on out and check it out.
Couldn't even buy a pretentious coffee for that.
You could. Right, it's now time for Hot Tech, and Swisside, friends of the channel, have just released some interesting data about the Super Tuck position. Because in case you haven't looked at your phone or been online over the last week or so, you might not be aware that the UCI recently banned that Super Tuck position and the so-called puppy paws position, or invisible time trial bars.
Yeah, without wanting to delve into the debate as to whether or not it should or shouldn't have be banned, both of these positions, Swisside have simply sort of presented the data of how aero they are. They've been down into their wind tunnel in Innstadt. I've been there.
And we love data, don't we? So let's take a little look, because there's too much for me to remember, that's for sure. So some of the sort of key bits they've looked at first off is the time trial sort of position, isn't it? Replicating that with invisible time trial bars. And their sort of baseline figure they've got is using your hands on the drops with your arms straight. So that, for example, 50 kilometers an hour is the middle reference point they've got, and that's 412 watts, yeah? So that's their baseline reading. And if you go all the way down to the most extreme position, which is now outlawed, which is the invisible time trial bars, at 50 kilometers an hour, you've got a potential saving, according to Swisside, of 46 watts. So, I mean, there's a lot of information here at different speeds, but I've picked out 50 kilometers because that's the middle value that they've tested at. And that's a big saving, isn't it? That potentially professional riders are about to lose out on.
Yeah. So for sort of pro speeds, that's a big saving.
That's a ginormous saving. And I can see why some people are a bit, upset about this, but we're just looking at the data. So that's the most important part.
But I think also compared to the sort of horizontal forearms on the hood's aero position, which is still very aero, there's still a saving there. So you're still saving around sort of, well, you're looking at like 12 to 20 watts saved with the puppy paws over the aero hoods. That's significant, isn't it?
Yeah, that is significant. So I guess it does make a big change, but those are the rules, aren't they?
Yeah, and then when you look on the descending on the top tube position, the Super Tuck, as it's known.
And these are at a higher speed that they've tested at, because generally it's on a fast descent, isn't it?
Yeah, so if you were descending at 70 kilometers an hour.
All the time.
Yeah, compared to descending on the saddle, they believe that it saves 135 watts.
There is just something that springs out to me here is, I guess these are theoretical power savings, because obviously when you're doing 70 kilometers an hour, and on the top tube of the bike, you may well be pedaling a little bit, but people aren't going to be doing 844 watts, are they? So it's just as a comparison as the relative effort that it would normally take to ride at that speed, surely, because no one descends on the top tube and does nearly 900 watts.
Yeah, and I mean, anecdotally as well, I have seen people who've done tests which I don't believe were correct in the assertion that they said descending on the top tube wasn't quicker. It seems pretty clear that these positions are faster, but I guess the question is, should they not be banned? So let us know your thoughts in the comments on that matter. What have we got next?
Up next, we've got a brand new POC helmet with a built-in self-charging light system.
This is the POC Eternal. It's a helmet with a built-in self-charging light. Helmets with integrated lights, nothing new, we've seen those before, but this is the first one that is self-charging. It has solar panels, this is incredible, built into the helmet, which mean the light is always being charged when you're using it. And I think it's just something that, as an improved safety feature, on helmets and increasing their visibility, it's a great thing.
Yeah, the thing that I like most about it is that it's incredibly subtle. You know, the system's all nicely integrated in, and you can't really tell that it's any different to any other helmet. I've had loads of helmets in the past that have got lights built into them, but none of them that are self-charging. So basically, you forget to put the light on or turn it off. Eventually it goes flat, and then when you do need to use it, it doesn't work anyway, so you might as well have not had it.
Yeah.
And this kind of solves all those problems, doesn't it?
Elegant design solution.
Okay, next up in hot tech, we've got a brand new e-bike that features a hidden motor, and this is the HPS Domestique bike. And to the untrained eye, it looks like a normal road bike, but as I said, it's got a little motor hidden inside of it.
It does. The motor's actually hidden inside the seat post, and is a bit similar, we imagine, to the VVAX system, which they went out of business a couple of years ago. It's said to produce 200 watts of assistance in a sustained fashion, but it's capable of a peak power of around 230 watts, and this is at 20 newton meters of torque. To put that into context, as to sort of what that means, some Bosch motors available on e-bikes are capable of 85 newton meters of torque and 60 newton meters of torque in more economical settings, with peak powers of around 400 watts. So it's quite a bit less powerful than that.
And the battery life is considerably shorter too. This features a 190 watt hour battery, which is encased into a water bottle, again making sort of a far more subtle design because you can't even see the battery as such. And this e-bike system only adds 1.5 kilos like additional to the bike weight, which means this bike comes in at 9.5 kilograms for an e-bike, which is actually pretty light.
Yeah, and so it's a trade-off really.
Yeah.
It's a less powerful e-bike, but it doesn't look like an e-bike. It's far more discreet, which may or may not be important to you. And if you want one, 12 grand.
Oh, yeah.
Expensive.
Up next, we've got a neat little tool, which is to help you centralise your disc brake calipers. And this little device slides over your disc rotor, and then you slide it in between the brake pads and your caliper, well, in between the rotor and your caliper, sorry, and that'll help centralise the caliper so you can do it up and hold it nice and secure so your brakes don't rub.
Only a few quid as well.
Yeah, it's very cheap. Oddly though, you order that, you get 3 of them inside the packet. I don't know why you would get 3.
Oh, well, that's fine. Let's order some.
Yeah.
You keep one, I'll keep one, and then we'll post one to Chris Froome.
Oh yeah, he'll be happy with that. Right, and we got our final bit of hot tech this week, and Wahoo Soft Training have launched a brand new workout called Norway, and it sounds pretty cool.
Yeah, this is really cool. They've taken onboard race footage and the corresponding power data file from Lotto Soudal rider Carl Fredrik Hagen, and this is from an actual UCI stage race. And then they've made it interactive. So you ride along and experience what he experienced relative to your own power abilities from your own 4DP profile. So when he goes hard, you go hard.
Yeah,
and well, Sufferfest reckons that it's their sort of most immersive race simulation that they've sort of ever created.
But what's this got to do with Norway?
Oh, that would be because it's from a stage of the Tour of Norway.
That'll do it. More hot tech next week. Right, it's time again for Snacks of the Week, and we've got an absolute banger this week because it's a Valentine's special.
Look at this. Got sent this amazing package, right?
Yeah, you go first.
It's all wrapped, everything. Inside here was a note. Also, carefully wrapped, a load of biscuits. This is amazing. Right, I'm going to read out the note first.
Oh yeah, read the note out.
These biscuits are amazing. So this it says,
I love the one on the top is Hank's dad's written on it.
Yeah. Happy Valentine's Day, GCN. You're all awesome, but Ollie is still my favourite. Kiss, kiss.
What have we got in there? Read some of them out. What have we got?
These are quite fun actually. There's a biscuit here. Wet lube on that one. Big ring.
Oh yeah.
It's getting a little bit weird.
Yeah, getting very weird.
Ride me.
That's enough of that. We should move on to we should move on to what else is.
Thanks, Dad. They're like love hearts, but made into biscuits. So you could have Ride Me, Hank's Dad.
Get stuffed. No, let's not do that. Let's go on to what I've got over here. And I've got to admit, it's not for me. I haven't received any Valentine's snacks.
Aero helmet.
Yeah. This one, Ollie B, my Aero King. And this is actually a very weighty bar of dairy milk. But one thing I do want to point out, there's a very, very lovely note on the back of this dairy milk bar, customised I must say. You send my heart rate into zone 4 just by clipping in, and that skin suit makes my ticker explode. Hashtag brains over biceps. So I think you've got a good admirer that's saying this on it.
Yeah.
I might even let you have a bit of this later on.
Did you bonk? I'm just like out of breath from my turn, no chance to recover, can't get on the back, instantly get spat. Well, thanks very much for those. I mean, this is gonna...
Sachin Katecha's got some rivals here with these snacks. Very good.
We're gonna, we don't have to buy any food now for a week.
We're actually storing all of these up. We're sort of setting up a bit of a GCN tuck shop.
Yeah.
Perfect, thanks. More snacks next week.
Cha-ching!
It's now time for screw riding upgrades, buy upgrades.
I'm just eating Hank's dad.
You normally say your good bit.
Oh yeah. All right. This is why. Good.
Yeah.
You submit evidence, pictures, videos, or things we can eat, baked goods, as evidence of the upgrades that you've made to your bikes, equipment, or cycling lives for the chance to win the ultimate prize. GCN water bottle, the one on my bike behind me here, although it's not in the cage properly. Anyway, there you go.
Yeah. From last week.
Last
need to
week,
look at last week's result.
Ah.
You finish off eating that. So last week, GCN Tech Show 164, whose upgrade was the best? We had SS Aaron's Bianchi 105 upgrade against Chevy 07's CAD eBay upgrade. And the winner was SS Aaron's 105 upgrade with, oh no, wrong way around. That was who I voted for.
Fake news.
Fake news.
Fake news.
Hold fire, false alarm.
Yeah, Chevy 07's CAD 8 from eBay.
You let me loose to do it one time when you're eating the snacks, get it wrong. But what have we got this week?
Get in contact on Facebook and we'll get a prize over to you.
Right, what have we got this week, Ollie? First up.
John O'Davis, 21. He says, my dad has owned this bike from new since 1991 and it was always in the garage and it didn't really get much use. And he got into cycling during lockdown, bought an Orbea Orca OMR in orange, like the one we've got. That's pretty cool. And it's got 105, group set of the people on it.
Yeah.
Which he said he picked. And he said...
his girlfriend Hannah couldn't keep up with him.
Hasn't been able to keep up with him. So he's took it upon himself to rescue this old MBK from his dad's dusty loft. So I must have moved from the garage to the loft.
Yeah.
And restore it with modern components, tubeless tyres. And he didn't actually want to give it to his girlfriend in the end. He said he got quite attached to it, but I think he did anyway. But there it is, back in 1991.
Good selection of pictures there.
I mean, those tracky bottoms, brilliant. We all dressed like that in 1991.
Year after I was born.
Yeah. I was 6. Anyway, there it is. And I mean,
I like the colour of it.
Really good, like paint sort of restoration gone on there.
Yeah.
It looks really good. But I mean, that is
the final
really smartened it up.
Yeah, the final item's good, isn't it? I like that.
There's just something really satisfying about when you get an old bike that needs a bit of work on it, and then it just gets, you just do a few tweaks, a little bit of work, and it just spins nicely.
God, it looks so
It
good.
just works.
Who's he up against? We've got Donut Endurance, who's got their 2014 Cannondale 29er Trail 4, so a mountain bike that they used to use to haul their kids around with a bike trailer. Yeah, glad he said he put them in the trailer. Kids have outgrown the trailer and he wanted to use this bike for something a bit more adventuring. So he stripped it all down, repainted the old frame, and then he's built it up with a 60 centimetre curved cycling Walmer bar, which is 75 centimetres wide at the drops. Centimetres? I think you might mean millimetres. But yeah, he's upgraded it with Shimano GRX shifting. You know, they've got the 1240 SLX cassette, derailleur, XT cranks. So he's got a bit of a gravel bike basically from his old mountain bike. So getting far better use out of it.
And it's gone Celeste.
Yeah, I wanted to actually point out because he uploaded 3 videos detailing both the painting of this frame and also riding it in his garden, which I've got to point out, he's got an absolutely sick ramp in his garden, rides all the way up it to the top and then straight down, dogs running around, looks like he's having the time of his life.
Amazing. Right, well, it's not up to us. Who wins? You decide.
Time for the bike vault now.
Yes, it's that time of the show where we judge your bikes to be either nice or super nice. If they're super nice, Alex rings the bell and they get committed to the bike vault for eternity. If you want to play along at home, you can do. All the bikes featured are on the GCN app as well.
Just a quick bit of news for you here. This is, well, everyone seemed to love the quick fast special last week. So this week, I've got a backwards quick fast special because when I went into the bike vault, because it's obviously a physical location that we go into to get these submissions, for some reason, loads of people have submitted their bikes all with the drive side facing away from the camera. So that's this week why I've got backwards quick fast special.
Right, let's get this over and done
Yeah,
with.
come on, first up, we've got
Specialized Venge Pro. This is from Benty C. What do you think of that? Oh, God.
well, other than backwards, you got to overlook that
Nice.
this week. No,
Nice.
Okay, nice, yeah.
Jill C. Appies.
Yeah.
Giselle Appies.
Ridley. This is a double bike submission.
Oh, God. Bike in the background, can't see, jaunty angle,
Out of focus.
clutter, loads of clutter, leaf clutter. Nice.
David Rotorez is next with his Trek in Monda SL6.
Nice bike.
Nice bike.
Nice. Oh, God.
Nice.
Non-drive side,
Yeah.
clutter.
Lightspeed Vortex next.
Peter Vass 80.
This looks to be submitted
Beautiful titanium bike.
in a good shape. Yeah, it's backwards, but you know, we've got no chimney. The cranks, whilst they're not level, they're they're at least vertically straight.
Just put it the right way round though, man. Nice.
Okay, nice.
And Ricardo Monti 06.
Which bike are they?
Bataille Pro
Bataille.
Team.
Oh, very out of focus.
Yeah.
Is that out of focus? I almost couldn't tell it was even the right way round or not.
Underexposed. I think there's exposure issues here.
Yes.
Which is then causing the resolution of his digital camera to struggle.
But again,
I mean, it's a beautiful bike, but again, look,
the cranks
it's
aren't
just
aligned
not,
either.
Not presented in its best
We've got
light.
cranks, we've got accessories. We can't let it slide through this week. Irrelevant of the fact it's backwards.
Nice. And last this week, we've got Chris Overton 1 with his Hind Letap Sport. What do you reckon of that?
Well, a lot of accessories left over on this. Helmet and glasses are on it for a starter.
Yeah.
Saddle cover. Yeah. A lot of emissions here, so not very good, is it? It's going to be a nice one, I'm afraid.
It's a really nice bike, just not presented in doing it justice.
This highlights the bike vault rules. Loads of nice bikes submitted this week, but all breaking the rules, unfortunately. Nice all round.
Please take some good photos for the bike vault next week.
Prepare.
Yeah, we might have the opposite. We might have a clean sweep of super nices.
Yeah,
that'd be something. That's something to aim for.
Yeah,
that's something we can all get behind.
Unfortunately, that's it for this week's GCN Tech Show.
But fear not, we'll be back next week. So subscribe so you don't miss us and all that jazz. And yeah, if you fancy it, check out GCN Plus because we think it's blooming great and an absolute bargain. Although that offer ends in February. So yeah, if you fancy it, take advantage.
See ya.